I wanted to go ahead and read for you since we have a minion right now. We'll see how much we can read of the Torah portion and translate, right? So I might go at a little bit quicker pace than you're used to. This is just while we wait for the rest of the kahal to come in, all right? Anyway, it's traditional to read the whole Torah portion in the synagogue usually. So here we are. This is Genesis chapter 20. Pardon me, chapter 12, verse 10. Vayehi ra'av ba'aretz. Then there was a ra'av, a famine in the land. Vayered Avram Mitzrayimah. Then Avram descended, he went down towards Egypt. Lagur sham ki kaved hara'av ba'aretz. To sojourn, to dwell temporarily there, for the famine was kaved, it was heavy, ba'aretz, in the land. Verse 11. Vayehi ka'asher hikriv lavo Mitzrayimah. And it was as he drew near. This word here, hikriv, it can be transitive or intransitive. So it might mean he caused like his camp to draw near, or he drew near. As he approached to arrive towards Egypt, Vayomer el Sarah ishto, that he said to Sarah his wife, Hinena, look now, or behold now, or please. It can be not can be please or now. Though the sages here interpret this to be now. Yadati ki isha yefat mar'ei at. I know that you are a woman who is beautiful in form. Verse 12. V'hayaki yir'u otach hamitzrim. And it will be that, and it will be when the Egyptians, hamitzrim, when they see you, ve'amaru, that they will say, Ishto zot, this is his eshet, his isha, his wife. Ve'chargu oti, and they will slay me, ve'otach yechayu, but you they will allow to live. That's Piel from chaya. So if it was just call, it would be you will live, they will live, but it's Piel, so it's got this kind of forceful effect. Verse 13. Imrina achotiat, say now that you are my sister, lema'an, so that yitavli, it will go well for me. Ba'avorech, on your account, like because of you. V'hayata nafshi biglalech, and my soul, like my life, literally my nefesh, will live on your account, or because of you. Verse 14. Vahi kevo Avram Mitzrayimah. So it was when Abram arrived towards Egypt, Vayiru'u hamitzrim, that the Egyptians, they saw et ha'isha, the woman, ki yafahi me'od, that she was very beautiful. Verse 15. Vayiru'u otah sarei fa'o vayihalalu otah el paro. When, and it literally says sarei Pharaoh. Now in Hebrew that would quite literally mean the princes of Pharaoh, but in foreign lands this has more the connotation of like captains or officers, right? You know, his minions. When the minions of Pharaoh saw otah, her, vayhalalu otah, they praised her, right? Like we say hallelujah, this is the same verb. Hallelu, they praised otah, her. El paro, to Pharaoh. Vatukach haisha beit paro. And Pual, the woman was taken to the house of Pharaoh. And to be totally correct grammatically, we would have expected beta paro with the hey locative, directional hey, but it's not there. Verse 16. Ule Avram heiti ba'avura. And, or now, to Avraham, things went well because of her. Vayehi lo tzon v'akar v'chamorim v'avadim v'shefachot v'atamot u'gemalim. And he got sheep and cattle and donkeys and servants and female servants and she-asses, that's like female donkeys, and camels. Back then camels were quite exotic actually, even though now it's common in the Middle East, back then it was not. I'm trying not to comment too much since we're just getting through the reading and translation. Verse 17. Nagad Adonai et Pa'ol, but Adonai smote it. He hit with a plague. Nagad. It literally means to touch, right? But the idea is in a negative sense here. He touched Pharaoh with negaim, with plagues like diseases, gedolim, great ones, big ones. The et beito, and also his household. So everybody who lives in there, they got afflicted with these diseases. Commentaries say it was sexual diseases like STDs and stuff. Al devar sarei eishit Avram, on account of, literally, because of the word, right, or the matter of Sarah, the wife of Avram. Okay, let me just scroll here a little bit so That was verse 17. Let's go to 18. I think we might be able to get through this before a good size of the kahalas here. Verse 18. Vaikra Pharaoh liv Avram. Then Pharaoh called to Avram, and this might be exclamation point, this vav, you can interpret that way. Vayomer, and he said, Mazot asita li. What is this thing you've done to me? What is this you've done to me? Lama, why? Lo higata li ki ishtachahi. Why didn't you tell me that your wife is she, that she's your wife? Verse 19. Lama ma'ata achotihi. Why'd you say she's my sister? Va'ekachota, and I took her, li, for myself, la isha, as a woman. So interpreted in context to be a wife, for a wife. Va'ata, so now, hine, behold, ishtacha, your wife, kach valech, take and go. Verse 20. Vaitzav alav pa'o anashim. Then Pharaoh commanded concerning him men. Anashim implies they were of important stature. Vaishalachu oto ve'et ishto ve'et kol asher lo. And they expelled him and his wife and everything which he had, everything belonging to him, literally everything to him. All right, chapter 13, verse 1. Let me scroll here a bit. Okay. Vaya'al Avram mimitzrayim, hu ve'ishto v'chol asher lo ve'lot aimo hanegba. So Avram, this is Allah, he went up from Egypt, he and his wife and everything which belonged to him, and Lot, his people, Lot with him, towards the Negev, right? The Negev is the southern region of Israel, right? Traditionally Judah. The Avram kaved me'od. Now Avram was very wealthy. Literally it says he was very heavy, right? Or honored. This is oftentimes a sign for wealth. I don't have time to talk about it, but also can be implications about the Mashiach. Bamikne, bakesev, uvazahav. With livestock, and with silver, and with zahav, gold. Chapter 13, verse 3. Vayelech lema'asav minegev ad Beit El. Then he went, or traveled, walked, lema'asav minegev ad Beit El. Let's see, to the encampment from the Negev until Beit El. So Beit El is actually the place where he was before, right? Where he erected an altar. Ad hamakom asher hayasham, unto the place which had been there, aholo, his tent. And notice the defective spelling of his at the end of tent there. Batechila, at the beginning, or from the beginning, if we understand this from Ugaritic, meaning from. Bein Beit El uvein ha'ai. Between Beit El and between the city known as Ai. And the sages say it was exactly in the middle, right? So he could welcome in all the foot traffic. Verse 4, El mekom hamizbeach asher asa sham barishonah, towards the place of the altar which he made there at the first. And this barishonah, this is what Rashi says is how Genesis should start, with this word, if it was literally to say in the beginning, like most translations say. It should not be bereshit, but it should be barishonah. This is how Rashi thinks. If you wanted to express in the beginning, this is the proper way in biblical Hebrew. Vaikra sham Avram, b'shem Adonai. Then Avram called in the name of Yod-Heh Waw-Heh. Verse 5. V'gam lelot haholech et Avram. Now also, Lot, belonging to Lot, who walked with Avram. It's kind of strange. Lelot, it's like belonging to Lot. Also, maybe the lamed is functioning a bit differently here. Haholech means the one who was walking with Avram. Hayatzon, okay, it is belonging. The lamed, his possessions over here. Also, Lot, the one who walked with Avram, had tzon, vakar, ve'ohalim, sheep and cattle and ohalim, tents. The idea is like there's lots of groups of servants. Verse 6. V'lo nasa otam ha'aretz lashevet yachdav. Watch your microphones, please. Okay. But he did not... Okay. Nasa is to carry or to bear or to it can sometimes mean to ascend, to go up, like we think of NASA sending rockets, Nasa. In this case it's bear, right? So the land could not bear them, right? Couldn't carry them. Lashevet, to dwell, yachdav, in unity, meaning like next to each other. And we have the famous Okay, there's no time, sorry. Ki haya rechusham rav velo yachalu lashevet yachdav. I'm trying to resist commenting. For their possessions, the rechush, was rav, was very much. Velo yachulu, so that they could not, they were unable to, lashevet yachdav, to dwell together. Vayehi riv bein ro'ai miknei Avram, uvein ro'ai miknei Lot. So there was a dispute between the shepherds of the livestock of Avram and the shepherds of the livestock of Lot. And also the Canaanites, the Haperizi and the Perizzites, Az Yoshe Ba'aretz, were still living in the land. Verse 8, Vayomer Avram el Lot, so Avram said to Lot, Al na tehi meriva beini uveinecha, uvein ro'ai, uvein ro'aicha. Let's not let there be a dispute, like battles between me and you, and between my shepherds and your shepherds. Ki anashim achim anachnu, for we are kin. Right? The word here, brothers, is used in biblical Hebrew oftentimes to just mean a relative. Just like you can even say a sister, kind of like we do in fellowship today, right? Okay, and let me scroll up just a little bit. We're almost done with the pareshah. For those of you just trickling in, we are just finishing the Hebrew reading and translation of the pareshah. Hope everybody hears me well. Okay. Okay, almost finished, just a few more minutes. Verse 9. Halochu ha'aretz lefanecha, hipared ma me'alai. Is not the entire land before you? Separate off now, or separate off, please, from with me. Im hasemol ve'im emina. If to the left, then I will go to the right. Ve'im hayamin ve'as me'ila. And if to the right, then I will go to the left. Verse 10. Vayisa lot et aina vayar et kol kikar hayaden ki chula mashke. So Lot lifted up, that's that nasa again, right? He lifted up Einav, his eyes, and he saw the entire round of the Jordan. A kikar is like a round, like a loaf of bread. It also, in the prophetical literature, it has to do with like a weight that was used in buying and selling things. Kichula, and it was altogether mashke, irrigated. Lifnei shachet Adonai et Sodom ve'et Amora kegan Adonai ke'eretz Mitzrayim bo'achat sorar. This was before Adonai had ruined Sodom and Gomorrah. It was like the garden of Adonai in the land of Egypt as one comes towards Tzoar. Verse 11, Vayivchar lo Lot et kol kikar hayarden vayisah Lot mikedem vayiparedu ish me'al achiv. So Lot chose for himself, greedy Lot, all the round of the Jordan. And he pulled up tent stakes, or Lot traveled from the east, and they separated themselves, each one from his brother, which is a Hebrew idiom meaning one from another. Verse 12, we're almost finished. Avram yashab be'eretz Canaan, veLot yashab be'arei hakikar vayehal ad Sodom. Avram dwelled in the land of Canaan, but Lot dwelled or settled among the cities of the round, and he encamped, or he pitched his tent towards Sodom, which is a deep statement in and of itself. And finally, we finish the parashah with verse 13. Ve'anshe Sodom ra'ayim v'chataim ladonai me'od. Now the men of Sodom were evil and sinners concerning Adonai exceedingly. I think that was right. I think that's 13 is the end of our. Let me have a look-see here. I think we're done then, reading and translating. Oh, really? To 18? Okay. Let's just go ahead and finish up. I'll just pick up the speed. Verse 14. So then we have at least the mitzvah. We've read the entire parashah. Verse 14. V'Adonai amar el Avram acharei hipared Lot me'imo. So then Adonai said to Avram, after Lot had separated himself from him, Sana einecha re'ei min hamakom asher ata sham. So tsafon na v'negba v'kedema v'yama. Okay. Lift up now your eyes and look or see from the place where you are there to the north, to the south, to the east, and toward the sea, toward the west. Verse 15. Okay, I'm going to stop moving my pointer because it keeps showing this note from another version of Hebrew. So we're on verse 15 there, okay? Ki et kol ha'aretz asher ata ro'eh lecha. Watch your microphones, please. Yehoshua, please mute your mic, bro. Okay, I'll get it. Okay. For all the land which ata ro'eh lecha, you see for yourself, I will indeed give. This is a cohortative. The hey is emphatic there. Ulazar acha, and the u is probably emphatic. I will definitely give to your offspring ad olam. Until when? Until forever. Verse 16, just 3 more verses and then we're done. V'samti et zaracha kafar haaretz, and I will set your offspring, your seed, like the dust or the mud of the land. Asher im yuchal ish limnot et afar haaretz gam zaracha yimaneh. So that if a person is able to count the dust of the land, also then your seed he will be counted. Verse 17, kum hithalech ba'aretz le'okah ulerochbah ki lecha etnena. Arise and walk around in the land, for its length and its width, indeed to you I will definitely give it. And finally, verse 18, Vayehal Avram vayavo vayeshiv be'elonei mamre. Then Avram encamped. When he arrived, he settled at the elonei mamre. These are like the great oaks of Mamre, which is, by the way, very interesting. The consonants here are the same as we have in the Aramaic word memra, if you write it defectively without the yod, so like the word. Asher bechevron, which is at Chevron. Vayiven sham mizbeach la'Adonai. And he built there an altar for Adonai. Okay, very great. Baruch Hashem, we got to read through the entire Hebrew of the Torah portion and translate for those of you who are just a little bit late. And so the rest of you, let's get started with our pareshah now. Let me just move this window.